This is the reflection practice. So first one, we want to reflect across the y-axis. So our y-axis is this axis right here. Okay, so we want to reflect across it. So it's one to the left, so we can go one to the right and call it B prime. The other way you can do it is we can use the formula. So we know that AB map, if we're reflecting over the y-axis, we know that AB is going to map to negative AB. Okay, so AB is negative 1, 4, so V is negative 1, 4. So V prime is going to be, flip the sign, positive 1, 4. Okay, so we're flipping over the y-axis. Again, if you fold it over, they should line up. Okay, here we're reflecting across the x-axis. So here's our x-axis. Okay, so we're going to be reflecting down. So this one's 4 above, so the reflection is going to be 4 below. Okay, if we can't visually do that very well, we can use the formula. So we know that for reflecting over the x-axis, AB is going to map to a negative B. So AB is the coordinate of this point, which is negative 4, 4. Okay. So we put in negative 4, 4. Okay, A stays the same. It stays the negative 4. We flip the sign of B, though, so it becomes 4, negative 4. And this point is 4, negative 4. Fold it down. The x covers the x prime. Number 3, we're reflecting across the y-axis. Okay, so here's our y-axis. We can write, so we know our transformation is going to be AB goes to negative AB. So let's write our points down. We don't have to write our points down. We can do this visually, but let's write our points down. E is going to be 1, 4. Okay, Z is going to be 1, 5. And W is going to be 3, 4. So we're going to go to E prime, Z prime, and W prime. Okay, so E is 1, 4. So we want to convert it using this. So we need to flip the sign of the first one. So the positive one becomes a negative 1. The 4 stays the same. Okay, so this becomes E prime. Okay, Z is 1, 5. So again, 1, we need the A to A. So we need to flip the sign there. So it becomes negative 1, 5. So here's Z prime. And then W is 3, 4. Again, we flip the sign of the first one, so it becomes negative 3, positive 4. Okay. And we can just connect them together. Here's R. This was W prime. Okay. The other way we could do it is just visually, right? We can see E is 1 to the right, so E prime is 1 to the left. Z is 1 to the right, so Z prime is 1 to the left. W is 3 to the right, so W prime is 3 to the left. Okay. 4, we're reflecting across the x-axis. Okay, so again, let's do it visually first. V is 1 above, so V prime is going to be 1 below. Q is 1 below, so Q prime is going to be 1 above. R is 3 below, so R prime is going to be 3 above. Okay, connect our points, and we can see that if we fold them over, reflect them, they're going to match up. Right? If you have a piece of paper and then you fold it in half, these lines are going to cover those lines. Okay, if we couldn't do it visually, we can use our formula. The formula for reflecting over the x-axis is AB maps to A negative B. Okay, then we can plot our points. So V is 5, 1. Q is 0, negative 1. And R is 1, negative 3. Okay, we use our formula. A stays the same, so V prime, we're going to have 5. A goes to A, and then B goes to negative B, so we switch the sign. So 5, negative 1. Okay. 0 stays 0. A goes to A. Okay, B goes to negative B, so we got to flip the sign on the second coordinate. So that's going to be positive 1. Negative 1 goes to positive 1. Okay, and then for R prime, we have 1, negative 3. So again, 1 stays the same. Flip the sign on the negative 3. So that becomes 1, 3. And then when you plot these points, you're going to get this triangle. Number 5, we want to reflect across the x-axis. Again, so x-axis, and our formula is AB goes to A negative B. W is 1 above, so we're going over the x-axis. W is 1 above, so W prime is 1 below. T is 1 below, so T prime is going to be 1 above. D prime is 3 above, so D is 3 above, so D prime is 3 below. Okay, and then K is 2 above, so K prime is 1 below. So there's our reflection. Again, if we can't do it this way, we can write out our points. W is 3, 1. Okay. So 3, 1 is going to go to 3 is going to stay the same, and we're going to flip the sign for B, so it's going to become negative. So 3, 1 becomes 3, negative 1. Okay, negative 1, which is point T. Okay, is going to stay negative 1, and then we flip the sign in the second coordinate, so that becomes positive 1. D is negative 1, 3. Again, we're going to keep A the same and change the sign in the second coordinate. That's going to give us D prime right here. Okay, and then our last point, K is negative 1, 2. So we're going to keep the negative 1 the same, change the sign of the second one, that's negative 2. So that's K prime. Here we're going to reflect across the y-axis. So our formula is AB goes to negative AB. Here's the y-axis that we're reflecting over. Okay. We notice that M and W are on the line, so M and W aren't going to change positions. M prime and W prime are going to stay the same. We notice Q is 3 to the right, so we want to put Q prime 3 to the left. We notice K is 4 to the right, so we want to put K prime 4 to the right, and then we can actually draw in the rest of our figure. As we can see, it reflects perfectly over. We want to write the points out again. And let's start with Q. So Q is 3, 0. Okay, so we flip the sign of the first one, so it becomes negative 3, 0. K is 3, negative 3. That's going to become negative 3, negative 3. M is 0, 4. So 0 becomes negative 0. Negative 0 is not really a thing. It's just 0. And then 4 stays the same. Our last point then is 0, 5. So same thing. 0 becomes negative 0, which is a thing. So it's just 0. And then 5 stays the same. Okay. 7 and 8. We want to reflect across the line y equals negative 1. So we want to draw in the line y equals negative 1. So y equals negative 1. It's going to be a horizontal line right here. Right, so it doesn't matter what the x value is. The y value is always going to be negative 1. So this we don't have a formula for, so we just have to count points. Okay, v is 1 below, so v prime is 1 above. Y is 2 units below the line. So y prime is going to be 2 units above the line. Okay, n is 2 units above, so n prime is going to be 2 units. Below A is 1 unit below, so A prime is going to be 1 above. So again, if we reflect over this line, y equals 1, they should look the same. because they should be congruent because they're isometric. 8, we're reflecting across the line x equals 1. So here's x equals 1, so that it's going to be a horizontal line. It doesn't matter what the y value is, how big your small y is. X is still going to be 1. Okay. So C is 1 unit to the left, so C prime is going to be 1 unit to the right. F is 2 units to the right of the line, so F prime is going to be 2 units to the left of the line. M is on the line, so M prime is also going to be on the line. It's going to be in the same spot. It's not going to move when it's reflected across the line x equals 1. B is 4 to the right, so B prime is 4 to the 4 to the left. So here's our image. Okay, perfectly reflected over the line y equals. Okay, number 9, reflecting across the line x equals 3. X equals 3 is a vertical line. Okay, so here's x equals 3. Okay, F's going to stay the same because F's on the line. W is 2 to the left, so W prime is 2 to the right. U is 2 to the left, so U prime is 2 to the right. And there is our, and then F prime and F are the same point. So we're reflected over the line x equals 3. Okay. Y equals negative x. So we have a formula for that. Let's draw on the line y equals negative x first. So here's our line. Y-intercept is 0. Slope is negative 1. We know that AB is going to go to negative B, negative A. This one's a hard one to do visually, and it's a little bit stretched here on this smart board on the Promethean here. So let's write the points out. So we have V, which is 1, 5. We have G, which is 1, 3. Okay, and we have A, which is 4, 5. So we got to use our formula. So AB goes to negative B, negative A. So we got to flip them, switch spots, and then make them both the opposite. So 1, 5 becomes 5, 1, and then we want to make them opposite. So it's negative 5, negative 1. Negative 5, negative 1 is right there. Okay, and then we want to go to the next one. So 1, 3. So again, we swap them and make them both opposite signs. So 1, 3 goes to negative 3, negative 1. And then the last point here, 4, 5. Okay, it's going to again switch them. So negative 5, negative 4. And then here's our new figure. Looks a little strange because the Promethean's stretched. But if everything was a perfect square, all those coordinates, then this would look good. Let's go to number 11. So here we're reflecting over the line x equals 1. So let's draw in our line x equals 1. So here's x equals 1, and it's a vertical line. Okay. C is on the line, so C prime stays on the line. Q is 2 to the right of the line, so Q prime is going to be 2 to the left. J is 1 to the left, so J prime is going to be 1 to the right. P is 2 to the right, so P prime is going to be 2 to the left. Connect our points. And they should reflect right over the line x equals 1 both ways. Next one, reflecting along across the line y equals x. Y equals x again is our line where the y-intercept is 0 and the slope was 1. And we had a formula for that one. So AB went to BA, mapped to BA. So all we do is swap the coordinates. Okay, so x is 0, 1. So that's going to go to x prime, which is going to be, switch them, 1, 0. Right here, that's x prime. And then let's just do j. So j is -1, -4. If we swap the places, j prime is going to be -4, -1. Which is right here. L is 5, -1. So if we use our mapping notation, all we're doing is swapping the places. So this is L prime is going to become -1, 5. And then U is going to go from 4, -2. And then U prime is going to be -2, 4. Okay, we can connect those points. Let's do it in this color maybe. Can we see that too light? It might be too light. Yep, or we can draw it in black, maybe. Oh, or thick black. All right, so you should see it flips and rotates over. Reflects over, so they're equal. Or they're the same size and shape, I should say. 13, reflection across the y-axis. So we have points. Okay, and we already know our new points. So our formula is AB, okay, reflecting across the y-axis. So AB is going to go to -AB. So we can already find our new points. Okay, B prime is going to be 4, 1. U prime is going to be 5, 5. G prime is going to be 1, 5. And H prime is going to be 2, 0. So we can just plot those points. 4, 1, 5, 5, 1, 5, and 2, 0. Okay. Now if we wanted to do our original, okay, our original is -4, 1, -5, 5, -1, 5, -2, 0. Okay, we didn't need to draw the original, we just needed to draw the new one. This is the new one. Okay, that's our reflection. Okay, 14, across the x-axis. Okay, so again, we have a formula for going across the x-axis. That's AB goes to A negative B. So we know all these. We know this is going to be -4, 0. Right? 0, -0 is just 0. This is going to be -5, -5. H prime is going to be -3, -5. And F prime is going to be 0, -2. So let's plot our points. -4, 0. -5, -5. -3, -5. I'm sorry, -5, -5 is down here. -3, -5. And 0, -2. Okay. Again, if we want to graph the original, just to make sure it was good, right? We have -4, 0. We have -5, 5. We have -3. Oh, that was -4, 0. -3, 5, and 0, 2. So again, flipped over the x-axis, right? You can see it's obviously flipped over the x-axis. All right, 15. Okay, we want to reflect across the line x equals -2. So x equals -2 is going to be a vertical line at x equals -2. So there's x equals -2. All right, I'm going to plot the points here. Okay, so our original is going to be -3, 1, -3, 2, -1, 2, and -1, -3. Okay, so if we want to reflect across the line y equals -2, we got to swap them out. So this point right here is 1 to the right, so we need to go 1 to the left. This point is 1 to the left, so we need to go 1 to the right. This is 1 to the right, so we need to go 1 to the left. This is 1 to the left, so we need to go 1 to the right. Okay, so that's our new figure. There's our original. Okay, so they're really close, but they're reflected over the lines. Okay, 10, y equals -x. So here's our line, y equals -x. Again, the slope is -1, and the y-intercept is 0. The original points are -3, 3. Okay, -3, 4. -1, 4. -1, 2. Okay, so we want to reflect over this line. Okay. So this one's on the line, so it's going to stay on the line. This is 1. Well, let's use our formula. Okay, let's use our formula. Let's be precise here. Okay, so let's start with this point right here, which is u. Okay. -3, 3. Okay, and again, our rule here is that AB is going to go to -B, -A. So I want to switch 3 and -3 and 3 becomes 3, -3, but you want to flip the sign, so it's going to stay -3, 3. This point here, wait, let's go in order. So black. -3, 4. Okay. Switch in places, so 4, -3, and then flip the sign, so that's -4, +3. Which is right here, it makes sense where that's flipped over. Next one is green, B, -1, 4. Use your formula, switch them, switch the sign, so -4, +1, which is right here. Again, that makes sense. Okay, and then purple, be -1, 2. Okay, and again, we're using our formula. So switch them, flip the signs, that becomes -2, +1. Okay, and again, that makes sense as well. Okay. 17. We're doing that time, 24 minutes. 17. Find the coordinates of the, so all we need to do is find the coordinates. Or it's asking us to find the coordinates. Okay, so we want to reflect across the line x equals 1. So here's x equals 1. So t is 1 to the right. So t prime is 1 to the left. So the coordinates for t prime are going to be 0, 0, right? That's the origin. Okay, a is 2 to the right. So a of the line. So a prime is 2 to the left of the line, which makes a prime, what is that, -1, -1. R prime is 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right. So R is 4 to the right. R prime is going to be 4 to the left, which is -3, -1. So R prime is -3, -1. And then the last point here is C. C is on the line. No, C is 1 to the left, so C prime is going to be 1 to the right. Okay. So that's going to make it 2, -3. Okay, that's what our image is going to look like. We're reflecting across the line y equals -3. So let's draw in our line y equals -3. Right here. Let's start with A. A is 1 above, so A prime is going to be 1 below. Okay, that puts A prime at 4, -4. Y is 2 above, so Y prime is going to be 2 below the line. That puts Y prime's coordinates at 3, -5. Okay, N is 1 above, so N prime is going to be 1 below. That puts N prime's coordinates at -1, -4. Okay, and then finally, M is 2 below, so M prime is going to be 2 above, which puts it at 0, -1. Okay, we can connect our points. And we can see it's reflected over that line. Okay, last two, 19 and 20. So I'm going to plot this out kind of so I can see it better. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Let's plot our points here. So we have -1, 0. We have -3, 3. We have 1, 5. And we have 3. So here's our points. We want to reflect over the line y equals 1. So that is going to be y equals 1 is this line right here. Okay, so we want to reflect over that line. Let's go in order. 1, 0, -1, 0. Okay, is 1 unit below the line, so it needs to go 1 unit above. So now it's at -1, 2. Okay. -3, 3. It's 2 units above, so it needs to go 2 units below. 1, 2 units above, so it needs to go 2 units below. That's going to put it at -3, -1. 1, 5 is this point right here. It is 1, 2, 3, 4 units above, so we need to go 1, 2, 3, 4 below. That puts us at 1, -3. And our last point here is on the line, it's 3, 1. So 3, 1. It's just going to go to 3, 1. Okay, so these are 4 coordinates of 4 points. Okay, next one we want to reflect across the x, the line x equals 1. I'm going to erase all this. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's plot our points. -1, -5. Okay. -3, -1. 1, -1. want to reflect across the line, x equals 1. That's going to be this line right here. Okay. So let's look at the Q. It's 2 to the left, therefore we want to go 2 to the right. Okay, which is going to be 3, -5. The blue one here, C, is 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right, so we want to go 4 to the left. I mean, it's 4 to the left, so we want to go 4 to the right, which puts it at 5, -1. The green one, which is U, is on the line, so it's going to stay on the line, which means it's not going to change. And then purple here is 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right, so we want to go 4 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's going to be at -3, -4. Whoa. Wait a minute. It's at 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So this one should have been more this way. Okay, so it's 3 to the right. We want to go 3 to the left, which puts it at -2, -4. Okay, and these are our 4 points. All right, so that is the reflections practice, and it has the answers on it as well. So you don't have to watch the video. You could have just checked all the answers. Yep. All right, so that is the reflections practice.